Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into our starting lineup once again, brought to you by Good Spot Day, by the Gordon Law Group, your full-service local law firm practicing in all areas of the law. Your batting lineup tonight for the Wasps will be Crew Erickson batting leadoff and playing left field. Tragun will be in center. Alex Gutierrez batting third and playing second base. Chet Wilson in the cleanup spot playing third base. Landon Carter, the sophomore, will be behind the dish for the first time this season. He'll be batting fifth. Cole Zimmerman at first base. Carter Bucott playing short. Ashton Gurney, the junior, will be the DH today, and Tad Solser gets his first start of the season in right field. On the mound today will be Gage.
Yeah, Tyson, we're getting a look at a couple different guys in different positions, right? Tad Solser in right field, see how he does with his opportunity. Max Walker got the start out there in opening game, number one for Wasatch, and he looked good. Tyler Walker did a good job in the time that he got out there in right field as well as at the plate, So we'll see how Solser does to try to push him. Solser had 4 at-bats in the first game as well, Tyler. He got on base a couple times by walks. Didn't get a hit in that one, but he did find his way on base as well. So both those guys have found their way onto the base path often. So it'll be interesting to see how Tad does today and see if he can push for some more time in the lineup as well. Also curious to see what happens at that catcher position, Tyler. Feel like you've got a real good battle going on right now as Hafen got the start in game 1, went 2 for 4, performed really, really well. But when you looked at Landon Carter there, he got the DH start, and he was also excellent on base a couple times with a couple doubles. And now we're going to get a look at Carter behind the dish, see how he performs there. And Wasatch might have a lot of depth when it comes to catcher between Hafen good as well. So we'll see how the catcher position unfolds over the course of the season. That one's a little more unique than other positions too, Tyler. You really do need a couple good catchers on your team, especially on weekends like this when you're playing multiple games on each day. State tournament, you get into a similar situation where you play a lot of games in a row, and catching depth is something that's pretty important to the team. So I'm curious to see how the sophomore Carter does behind the dish today as well for Wasatch.
Ty, you mentioned 1-1 yesterday in game 1. They beat Hunter 22-0 in the first one, and then lost to Park City 9-7 in the second one. Let's jump over to some keys that Wasatch needs to have. Those keys are brought to you by Point S Tires. Think of Point S Tires, your local tire expert. Each Point S Tire is independently owned and to bounce back after that tough loss in game 2 yesterday.
We got into this a little bit in our first Gary King pre-game show before we had to step away for the lightning delay, and I think the key for me is going to start on the mound as far as pitchers throwing strikes and challenging the hitters, right? Get on the mound, challenge the hitters, put the ball in play, don't give walks, don't hit by pitch, and then in the field you got to play clean and not have errors. I think it's going to be really hard to beat this Wasatch team this year if they play clean and don't have walks, they don't have errors. So that's going to be the key to the game to me. Is pitchers need to get on the mound, throw strikes, and challenge the hitters of Juan Diego to put the ball in play. I think Wasatch will be in a good spot at the end of the day if they do that.
Remind you to listen to the Dairy King pregame show. Wasatch set for game 1 of 2 today. They got Juan Diego, and then they will play the host school Pineview in game 2 right after following this one. Ty, there's been some fun games here at Pineview High School. I'm going to kind of put you on the spot and go back in time and do a good day in history of Wasatch High School baseball, brought to you by Good Spot Day. What are some favorite moments you have here at Pineview High School?
You had one that you were going to just quiz me on. I got a couple that come to my mind. You know, I actually, as we were walking in, my mind went way back to 2004, watching Brandon Willett hit a ball off the left field wall over here when Wasatch came down in Coach Scholl's first year as the head coach of Wasatch baseball. The field was flipped at that time, Tyler. Where home plate was actually about where the left field fence was that Willett hit the ball off of. So that was one that I remember pretty vividly. I think Nick Chadwick and Brandon Price both were pitching down here at that time, and both had a strong day for the Wasps. But in more recent memory, Jackson Hollander, and this one was needed, Tyler. We were both coaching at the time. The team was coming off a really tough first weekend in St. George. Came down here for the second weekend, and there was conversation of, okay, Pineview's a top team in the state. They actually were number 1 in 4A for most of the year, and how do we want to approach this? We felt like we needed the team to get success and taste a win, so do we use our ace and Bolander to go against maybe an inferior team and make sure we get a win, or do we go with Bolander against the top dog? And the decision was, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So we're going to put Bolander out there against Pineview, and he went out and threw an absolute gem, Tyler, and shut them down. Ended up getting the win. Beat a pitcher who was 90. I think he had 94, the Pineview pitcher in that game. Wasatch ended up getting the win. Highlighted by now senior Tragun Shaw's first moments in the varsity level, Tyler. He got in right field in the 7th inning and made the last out on a diving grab in right center to seal the win there. So that's one that comes to my mind. And then a final moment in history is you can't forget about Aiden McGoffin about 5 years ago, Tyler, when Aiden came down and pitched a no-hitter going into the last inning. They ended up getting a flare ball to avoid the no-hitter, but Aiden McGoffin absolutely shut down Pineview High School and got the win here against Pineview as well. So this has been a pretty good field, the Wasatch coming down and playing the Pineview Panthers, Tyler. Wasatch doesn't have Pineview in this one. They get them in the next game today, but there's some good history there for Wasatch. A few names to think about: Wayback Machine to Brandon Willett and Nick Chadwick, Brandon Price, those guys in 2004, Aiden McGoffin in that 18-19 era, and then, of course, the ones with Jackson Bolinder and Tragun Shaw the last time we were down here.
Excuse me, that win by Aiden McGoffin was my first win as the head coach here at Wasatch High School.
Yeah, that's right. Brought you the ball after, right?
Yeah, so that was the game that came to mind. Let's go and take a break time. When we come back, we'll have the top of the first inning. Wasatch will be hitting first. Crew Erickson, Tragun Shaw, and Alex Gutierrez up when we come back here on 94.5 The Peak.
Timberline Ace Hardware is your full-line Benjamin Moore paint store. Visit them for your home projects, business-to-business, and contractor needs. And remember to ask about their delivery services. And if they're looking for some cashiers, apply today. And get your car hardware, your cool outdoor clothing, and Wrangler jeans. Timberline Ace Hardware, located west of the Wasatch Wasps football stadium at 737 South Main Street, serving the Heber Valley for over 50 years.
Hi, I'm Stacey McKay, branch manager at Bank of Utah. Everyone here at Bank of Utah believes that we are an extension of our community. Not only do we craft banking solutions to help families and businesses in our area, we boost the community by proudly supporting local organizations like Wasatch High School. Because when our communities thrive, we all thrive. Come see me at our Heber branch and experience community banking at its best. Bank of Utah is an equal housing lender, member FDIC. Well, folks, spring is near, but have no fear. Country Gardens and Nursery is here for your everyday garden supplies, decor, and more. From our personal gardener to our new bulk yard, where we offer large variety of soil, mulches, and decorative rock. Come see what we have in store. Country Gardens and Nursery, 1401 South, US 189. We'll see you soon and hope to put you in bloom.
Are you ready for lunch? The Dairy King over the train is serving the best food with friends and family in the valley. And you've just got to try their delicious train burger with Warrior Shake. They also have those yummy salads that just hit the spot. They've been proudly serving the Heber Valley for 75 years. That's the Dairy King over the train, serving deliciousness daily. So stop in today.
The 50s produced some great singing, and that early rock and roll triggered so much emotion for so many. Here's another song from that era. The Piano Drill triggers a whole different set of emotions. The sounds, the smells, feeling out of control, whatever keeps you from the dentist at Doria's Dental, we get it. We focus on the little things. Distract yourself with your favorite episode of The Office, or crank up the 80s or 90s and let it take you back to another time. At Doria's Dental, we are sensitive to your needs. We're taking care of the little things so you can move on to more enjoyable things. Located in Gateway Plaza in Heber City.
And now, back to the action. Wasatch High School Sports on 94.5 The Peak.
Welcome back for the top of the first, brought to you by Mountain Refined. From design to project completion, our team excels in understanding and implementing your specific lifestyle and taste preferences into your interior design. Come into our showroom in order to find beautiful furniture, bedding, mattresses, decor, and so much more. That's Mountain Refined. Again, leading off for the West today will be Crew Erickson, the senior, currently hitting on the year 3 for 6, hitting 500 with a couple of doubles and an RBI. Batting second will be Tragun Shaw. Batting third, Alex Gutierrez. Batting fourth, Chet Wilson. And in the 5 spot will be the sophomore Landon Carter. On the mound for Juan Diego will be Lambana. Pitcher, 18 innings pitched last year, 9.3 ERA, throwing from the left-hand side out of the stretch. See how Wasatch does against lefty. They had a hard time tie yesterday against the lefty from Park City, who shut them down the last 3
He was good, Tyler. He had a lot of movement on his pitches, and it was not high-velocity pitching either. So he was coming in low 70s, but had some good breaking pitches, had a fastball that would tail away quite a bit, and it did give Wasatch some problems there. But that's not unusual, Tyler. A lot of pitchers they come in and change speeds like that and cause some issues with the other teams when you've got a guy going hard to start off the game. So that's something that the team probably needs to look to adjust with. That's what we used to like to do when we were coaching back in the day, Tyler, where you come with a guy that could throw really hard, and then your reliever, you would like to change speeds on the hitters and bring in someone that could throw soft. It was very effective for Park City on Wasatch yesterday.
Well, the first pitch is about ready to get started, and of course we're starting to get a couple more raindrops here. So we'll see how long this one lasts. Crew Erickson in the box again, 3 of 6, couple of doubles, couple of leadoff doubles. He had a leadoff double against Hunter, and then a leadoff double against Park City on the opening pitch. We'll see what he does with the first pitch here today.
Ty, it's almost comical that it's now raining literally the moment Crew stepped into the box.
Lambana's going to go low and down in the dirt, killing some worms on that first pitch. Ball 1-0 first to the leadoff hitter, Crew Erickson.
Well, maybe they were watching yesterday. Crew, both games, first pitch just got after it. Couple doubles off the wall, back-to-back games to start off the season.
1-0 pitch here from Lambana. That's in there for strike one. Pretty good velocity from the lefty. It's going to be a different approach for these Wasatch hitters than what they saw yesterday against Ethan Rudd. 1-1 the count now. Tragun shot on the on-deck circle. Lambana sets, shrugs, delivers. Another fastball. This one has Crew on his skis inside. Ball 2. On the count. Third baseman playing in on the grass. Shortstop also playing really shallow. Really all the infield playing shallow, about halfway through the dirt. Another 2-2, this one high and outside, ball 3.
That's a common result, Tyler. When you have a leadoff hitter, you're assuming speed, and Crew Erickson certainly has speed. And so if you know anything about Crew, you've scouted Wasatch, you know you've got to get rid of the ball. You can shorten that play by taking a couple steps in, but it does create more space for a hitter to get a hit. A little bit easier as the infield is giving up the angles, trying to come in to take away the speed.
The 3-1, fastball inside again, and that'll be a leadoff walk for the loss. And Crew Erickson reaching base for the third straight game to lead off the game. Bringing up Tragun Shaw now, 2 for 7 with a triple, 4 RBIs in Game 1 against Hunter High School.
Yeah, Tragun had a great opening game. Tyler led the way for Wasatch with 4 ribbies on the day. Hit the ball well against Park City, just hit it right at guys, but was on the barrel all game long. See how Wasatch wants to look with the lefty on the mound. See if they want to take a look at a pickoff move.
Lambana, high leg kick, delivers. Tragun squares, pulls back for ball 1. I think this is Juan Diego's 4th game to here, Ty. This is their last game of the weekend. Played on Thursday and then a couple of games yesterday, and they're wrapping up their tournament here with this one. Lambana, a couple looks over here at Crew, another high leg kick. This one too high. Tragun will pull back again for ball 2.
Tragun doing a good job tracking that one all the way in, Tyler. I like seeing his mechanics. He squares early, moves up in the box, gets the barrel at the top of the zone, and then it's just an easy read. Both times pitches were off target. Tragun pulled back.
He'll square again this time. He does get the bat on the ball, but it's going to go behind him and up into the backstop. 2-1 the count. Nobody out. Runner on first is Crew Erickson, who walked on 5 pitches. A couple of command issues early on here for Lambana. Out of the 8 pitches we've seen, 6 have been off the plate.
Looked like Tragun was trying to pull that one over to the first base side. Tyler just took his eye off of it a little early.
He's going to square again. This time it's a slash and go. Tragun swings. It's too high, but Crew Erickson will swipe the bag at second base. His first stolen base of the game brought to you by Gravity Coalition, offering the best in bikes, skis, snowboards, skateboards, and more in the Heber Valley. Personalized service, sales, and repair for the gear you love. Gravity Coalition in Midway, Utah, or gravitycoalition.com. This is a cool shot. 2-2 count now with nobody out for Tragun Shaw with a rounder on second base.
Coach Erickson's going to be aggressive, Tyler. He's going to try to find a way to get that runner to second or third base early, whether that be a bunt or a steal.
Tragun's going to swing at this one. He's going to pull it foul down the right field line, and we'll reset with 2 balls and 2 strikes.
So you can see when the bunts didn't work out early on for Tragun. Now we're going to put Crew in motion, knowing he's got some good speed. You've had a chance to read the pitcher a little bit on his motions going from the stretch. But he doesn't take long. 3 pitches was enough for Coach Erickson to say, Crew, all right, it's time to put you in motion here.
Lambana comes set. 2-2 count. One look at Crew. Crew goes off. He gets a big jump. Tragun's got to swing at it. Crew's got to try to get back to second base. Pop fly to the pitcher, who's going to end up taking it. Makes the out, and Crew will go back to second base.
Yeah, Crew had that timed up. Tyler would have been able to swipe that back easy, but with 2 strikes, Tragun has to offer if it's around the zone, and that was almost a worst-case scenario where Crew's nearly standing on third base when that ball's in the air in the infield. Crew had to turn and hustle, and get back just to avoid the double play.
Alex Gutierrez comes up to the plate, batting in the 3 spot. 4 of 7 so far in the tournament, hitting up above 500, 3 RBIs and 4 runs scored. He's got an RBI opportunity here with Crew on second base. Long pass from Lambana this time. Delivers up and inside for ball 1. Chad Wilson in the on-deck circle on deck. He's had himself a nice tournament so far. 5 of 7 with 3 doubles for Chad Wilson. Lambana steps back on the mound. Short lead for Crew Erickson. He's been able to get a great secondary, though, on the motion from Lambana. Long signal from the catcher. Lambana comes set. 1 look. Now 2 looks this time. And he goes with the high leg kick. Delivers. That ball's low and outside for ball 2. 2-0 the count.
If you didn't have a chance to watch the games yesterday for Wasatch, Tyler, this team offensively has been electric. They played 11 innings. They've scored in 9 out of the 11 innings so far this year. Last 2 innings against Park City, they didn't put runs on the board, but they scored in all 5 against Hunter in the first 4 against Park City.
The 2-0 pitch in there on the outside corner for strike 1. 2-1 the count now for Gutierrez.
And this guy at the plate, Tyler, has been Mr. Clutch. Alex Gutierrez having a fantastic start to the season, hitting over 500. He's at 571 on the year with a couple runs knocked in.
Lambana comes set, long look at Crew. Crew's going to go ahead and try to swipe the bag at third. Ball, and Crew's in there for the stolen base to third. Give him the stolen base to second, give him the stolen base to third, and it's a 3-1 count for Alex Gutierrez in the box.
Yeah, that puts pressure on the opposing team, Tyler. It might not seem like a big deal, but now an infield hit can score you a run, a slow roller, or a little flare ball that maybe is not as easy. A hard hit ball to the outfield, all should be an easy run for Wasatch if Gutierrez can be in play and find a way to get on base.
Alex is going to offer at a pitch a little up in the zone. Can't get to it. Full count now with 1 out and Crew Erickson on third base. Lambana still working out of the stretch with the runner on third. Shrugs. High leg kick delivers the payoff. And that's too low. Crew's going to try to swipe the back coming home, and he's going to do it. Crew still second, still third, and then scores home on a pass ball. And Wasatch has the 1-0 lead here in the top of the first.
Yeah, really good job from Crew, Tyler. That reminded me a little bit of flashes of the Springville game last year where Wasatch was going up against Easton Barrett, and they ended up winning that in a pitching jam where Crew got a bunt single, stole second, stole third, stole home, and Wasatch won 1-0. Crew kind of did a similar thing there. A walk, still second, still third, still home on a pass ball. Wasatch with a 1-0 lead now.
He's going to bring up Chet Wilson. As mentioned, 5 of 7, 3 doubles, 3 RBIs, and 4 runs scored. He's going to take ball 1. Alex Gutierrez on second. Landon Carter on deck, hitting in the 5 spot today. Lambana's going to come set. Shrugs the 1-0. Off-speed pitch, too low and outside. Moves the count to 2-0. A couple of walks. 2 out of the 3 to start off the game for Lambana. He's had a hard time locating. 2-0 the count.
Coach Jackson took a little more time on the sign. See if he got a little motion here, hit and run action.
Pickoff move, not in time. Alex able to get back.
It's a pretty readable pickoff, Tyler. I would be surprised if that's the best move there from Juan Diego. Kind of slowed down his entire motion home, shrugged the shoulders back a little bit, an easy read there for the runner to get back to first base.
Shortstop playing right up the middle here on Chet Wilson. Pitch, outside corner, gets the outside corner for strike 1. 2-1 the count on the fastball.
The baseball is such a game of cat and mouse, where pitchers will show different kinds of pickoff moves and wait for the moment to give the real good one when they can catch the runner on base sleeping.
High fastball, too high, moves count to 3-1. Chet does a good job of staying off of that one. And another hitter's count here for the cleanup hitter.
Wind swirling here, Tyler. Wilson with power to all parts of the field. About 20 minutes ago, the wind was blowing out to left field, which is only 321 down the line. Now it's pushing in from left center towards home plate.
Runner goes, hit and run opportunity here. Chet's going to lift this one to center field. Center fielder coming up in that swirling wind, able to make the catch. Alex Gutierrez was in motion trying to get back to first, and the throw is not in time as Alex is able to get back. But 2 outs and a runner on first for Wasatch.
Yeah, that was right on cue, Tyler, right into that wind. I actually think Chet hit that ball pretty well. But the wind's blowing in pretty hard right from left center, and that ball going from center field fading to left center just died. Easy for the center fielder to run under it.
Landon Carter will come up to the plate. 3 of 7 yesterday, a couple of doubles, 4 RBIs, and 2 runs scored for the sophomore. Moves up in the lineup, hit 7 yesterday, hitting 5 today. First pitch, too high, ball 1.
Ty, both you and I were impressed by Landon's time yesterday in the box. Seemed like it came off his bat with a little extra pop, a little extra velocity here.
Lombana comes set with the 1-0 count. Gutierrez, not a big lead. The pitch, that one too high, ball 2. That one was closer, but a little bit above the belt. Umpire doesn't like it, and it's ball 2. Calls them in on deck for the West. Another long signal here from the catcher. Lombana doesn't like it, shakes. Now he'll come set. 2-0, 2 outs. Delivers. That one's in there for strike 1.
It's a pretty good 2-0 pitch, Tyler. Like that pitch there from Juan Diego. Carter also showing some good discipline. A 2-0 count, and you kind of get into what you like to call a zone 1 approach, where you're looking for your money ball. You have 1 pitch, 1 spot. That wasn't Carter's zone 1. He's going to take it and move the count deeper.
He's going to swing at this one. It's to the backhand side of the shortstop. Shortstop goes down on his knees, stands up, throws it over to first. Nice pick by the first baseman. And Juan Diego gets out of the inning. 1 run on no hits, 1 error, and 1 left on base. Wasatch takes the 1-0 lead as we move into the bottom of the first inning.
That melts in your mouth. Family-friendly atmosphere where everyone is welcome. Quick service for dine-in or takeout. Great quality food and great value for your money. That's Gucci Food in Midway, Main Street.
You might be used to having someone answer the question, what is it that you need? I think that's limited. I'm going to take you through a 6-step process. And it's simply answering questions. And it might not just be home. It might be that you want that fancy new car. It might be that you want trips. It's your list. What is it that you really, really want? Call Tom Stone at Gil Mortgage in Heber City. Tom Stone, MLS 257849. Good mortgage companies and equal housing lender. MLS 7274. All relationships are going to be able to approve. Terms and conditions may apply. Subject to change without notice.
You follow KTMD, Heber City, and live sports coverage with Ty and Ty.
Bottom of the first action brought to you by Wasatch Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine, your rehabilitation specialist dedicated to your total recovery from sports injuries, auto injuries, industrial and or commercial injuries. Ben Ivy and his team get you back to 100%. Ty, take us around the diamond for Wasatch's defensive starting lineup.
Well, there's going to be a lot of familiar faces here, Tyler, especially on the left side of the field. Starting at third base, Chet Wilson and Carter Bucott at shortstop. And we saw that every game last year for Wasatch and expect a lot more of that this season. Erickson in left field for the Wasps. Tragun Shaw in center. Alex Gutierrez is going to be at second base. Cole Zimmerman at first base. And then Tad Sulcer in right field. On the mound starting for Wasatch today, Gage Sheesh. And behind the dish, Landon Carter. That's your starting 9 for Wasatch defensively.
Gage Sheesh last year, 17 and a third innings pitched in a closer role for the Wasps. Had 12 Ks in those innings and a 7.7 ERA. Leading off for Juan Diego will be Collada, 288 batting average last year, 11 RBIs, 25 runs scored, 5 extra base hits, and a home run. Opening pitch, too far inside for ball 1.
Good velocity from Gage early on. Tyler popping the bottom part of the zone. Good crisp sign early.
The 1-0 pitch is going to be in the dirt and outside. Good block there from Carter, but it's a 2-0 count here for Gage. Both pitchers, maybe a result of the weather, Ty, having to get all warmed up and ready to go, and then quickly having to get back ready for the start of this one. It's a 3-0 count now on the third pitch.
Ty, it's interesting watching these catchers now with the earpieces that the coaches can have them wear, and then they can just use a walkie-talkie to call them what they want. But big, bulky machinery on the back of the gear there, and you got to have an earpiece in the ear. It's just an unusual look to see something back there. It's not an ideal start, Tyler. 4 straight balls to walk to get this one going.
That'll bring up Verger, number 22, playing shortstop, was 1 of 7 last year with a couple of RBIs. Both teams wearing their all-gray unis, Wasatch in their all-gray and pins. They're all black hats. Gage working out of the stretch now, looks, delivers. There's a strike. It's going to be elevated foul for strike 1. You've worked with Landon Carter a little bit, Ty, on the catching side of things. Tell us a little bit about him, and again, a new face here for the Wasatch baseball program.
Yeah, Ty had a chance to spend a little bit of time with him in the offseason, and just pretty fundamental behind the dish. Tyler works really hard on his receiving.
This ball's going to be elevated into the foul territory. Tad Sulzer not able to come up and make the play, and that'll be strike 2.
He works really well on his receiving, Tyler. He's got good motion laterally, left to right. He receives the ball very well. He makes it look good no matter where the pitch is, and that's a highly desirable skill here for catchers to receive it. Your number one job as a catcher is to receive it. A lot of people put a lot of priority on throwing runners out and blocking, and it kind of goes receiving first, then blocking, then throwing runners out. Carter's good at all of them, but especially receiving is his strength.
This one slips out of the hand, goes back to the backstop. Runner will advance to second base on ball 1. So 1-2 count to the batter.
For a little bit of major league type cut. Just a bit high. You know, that one got away from Gage just a little bit.
So duck on the pond here for Juan Diego, trying to tie this thing up. Wasatch leads 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. Second batter of the game. First batter walked. Now we got a 1-2 count to the shortstop for Juan Diego. The 1-2 curveball fouled off barely.
Well, he fooled him completely there, Tyler. That was a swing. He got halfway through and saw that it was starting to break. The hitter didn't recognize the break at all out of the hand. As the ball got closer to him, he saw it and checked up and just tapped that thing to stay alive. Might go back to that curve if I were Gage.
1-2 goes with the fastball. This one's hammered up the middle. Runner's going to round third. He's going to try to score. Tragun can't handle the pitch. He gets behind him. And on the run, there goes Fergers. Picking him up, putting him down. He's rounding third. He might have a chance to round third here. Carter Bucod gets the throw, and he will be held up at third base by the pitching coach, or by the third base coach. But one run comes in. We got a tie ball game, 1-1. One run in, and then on the air, he's able to get all the way to third base, and we've got a tie ball game. Still no outs here in the bottom of the first. Batting will be now the center fielder Carlson. 341 batting average last year, 25 RBIs, 22 runs scored, and 5 bombs on the year for the number 3 hitter, Gage. High leg kick delivers too far up, ball 1. Start looking for the left-hand side.
This is an unfamiliar team for Wasatch, Tyler, not in the same division, definitely not in the same region then, and so you start looking for tendencies early on in the games to see, is this a team that likes to work the count? Do they swing early? Are they disciplined in the box? It's early, but the returns are they're not going to offer pitches that are close, but a ball that's in the zone, they're going to be aggressive and get after early on. And so this is a pretty disciplined team early on with these first 4 hitters. And you talked about it, Ty. These top 4 hitters for Juan Diego, 26 home runs last year between those first 4 hitters. So these are good quality hitters stepping into the box here to go for Juan Diego.
2-1 count after Gage gets him chasing upstairs. 2-1 count, still nobody out. Runner on third. The 2-1 pitch swung on, fouled off. Moves the count to 2-2. Good job from Gage battling back after the first battle. Gage has been able to find it. Now 2-2 with still nobody out. Gage will come set again. Delivers the 2-2. Swung on, ground ball. Gets through the 3-4 hole. Back-to-back singles here for Juan Diego, and they take the 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the first.
That's a good piece of hitting there, Tyler. Just kept the hands back, was patient, didn't try to do too much with it, and put a good barrel. Hard ground ball finds its way through the 3-4 hole.
That'll bring up the number 4 hitter, Harris. 429 batting average last year, ties 36 RBIs, 25 runs scored, and 6 bombs for Harris, who's playing first base today for the Soaring Eagles. Gage continuing to work out of the stretch. Pretty good lead from Carlson at first base. Gage comes set, takes another look over. Long look, delivers. This one swung on, fouled up, and out of play. Gets ahead for the first time here in the first inning. Still nobody out. No balls, 1 strike to the number 4 hitter. Wasatch trails 2-1. Took an opening top of the inning lead on a Crew Erickson single, or excuse me, a Crew Erickson walk, and then just stole around the bases. The 0-1 off speed, too far up, moves count to 1-1.
Is there a sport, Tyler, where people like to mimic major leaguers or professionals more than baseball?
Probably not.
It's seeing here, the Juan Soto slide step has become a popular thing over here, but you think about basketball, baseball, football, as a kid, you just love in the backyard mimicking swings or mimicking the way people field ground balls or back in the day, Jim Edmonds, Andrew Jones, those diving catches. People just love doing that with baseball. There's really a charm to the sport to be able to look up to your professional idols, and you see that a lot out here right now with these guys mimicking, especially the Juan Soto batting stance.
Another ball moves the count to 2-1. Gage delivers the 2-1, another off speed that's high and up. 3-1 now the count, still nobody out. He's tried to go fastball and off speed, hasn't been able to find either one of them here to Harris. Gage comes set, another pretty good lead from Carlson. Pick off move! No, that time.
Close, Ty. Pretty good throw. Zimmerman right on it, trying to put the tag on. Nice dive back to the bag, though. Went to the corner. Made it a little bit tough for Cole to get the tag grab.
Gage delivers, and that one's too far up again, and that's ball 4. Second walk of the inning. So walk, single, walk is where we're at here in the bottom of the first, and it's going to earn a trip to the mound from Coach Watkins. This trip to the mound brought to you by Mirror Lake Station, best donuts in Utah. Mirror Lake Station is your stop for gas, groceries, and goodies. Owners David and Kristen Wade invite you to swing by and say hello this season at Mirror Lake Station.
I would imagine part of this conversation here, Tyler, is Gage's mechanics when he's throwing that breaking pitch have not stayed consistent. So that pitch right there, he dropped the elbow down a little bit lower, and his hand, you want to keep your hand behind the baseball is something you like to teach your pitchers. And there's a tendency with people when they're trying to throw a breaking pitch that you get your hand on the outer half of the baseball, almost kind of trying to will it to spin its way and curve, and that's not the best way to throw a breaking pitch. And sometimes you can just have mechanics break down where your elbow gets a little low, your hand then comes out to the outside rather than staying behind it, and the ball can really start to sail and fly on you there. And that's what happened on that last pitch, though, is the elbow dropped down, and Gage's mechanics just went low for where he wanted his hand and his release point on the baseball. Coach Watkins, when he came out yesterday, made an immediate impact with Cole Zimmerman. Cole was kind of struggling, came out, and then Cole struck out the next 3 batters. And let's see if Gage can have a similar result here after having a conversation with his pitching coach.
We'll bring up the pitcher, Lombana. 436 batting average last year, 9 bombs tied for the lefty. Runners on first and second, still nobody out here in the bottom of the first. Wasatch trails 2-1. Gage, long look, delivers, and that one is up in the zone, but gets the strike call, moves the count to 0-1. Double play depth on the middle of the infield. Carter playing a little bit up the middle with the lefty. Jet playing even with the bag. Double look this time, Gage delivers, too far up again, moves the count to 1-1. Number 24 gets back into the box for Juan Diego. Cole Zimmerman playing in front of the base runner at first base. Gage, one look, now takes a second look. Delivers the 1-1. This one is lower, but it's too low, and that moves the count to 2-1. Your outfield again today, we're playing left field, Crew Erickson, playing center field, Tragun Shaw, and your right fielder is Tad Sulcer. All seniors in your outfield today. Carter Bucod breaks to second base. Runner doesn't fall. Runners go on the 1-1. It's going to be a foul ball to Cole Zimmerman, on the 2-1. So ties up the count at 2-2 with nobody out.
Yeah, it likes to be a hit and run, Tyler, right? You had runners in motion. Looked like something that was clearly called from the coach. And so you'd assume that's a hit and run. Otherwise, that hitter's going to have a conversation to be had with the coach when he gets back to the dugout, having perhaps missed a sign. Juan Diego kind of sent some blood in the water here. Tyler already leading 2-1, 2 runners on, nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning. They tried to put the pressure on Wasatch by keeping these guys in motion.
Interesting move, too, Ty. You got a lefty up, an easy pathway for the catcher to try to throw out the base runner going to third base. It wasn't a great jump, so I think you're right, a little hit and run action there. Don't want to make the first out on third base. Nice curveball in there for strike 3. The backwards game brought to you by Wasatch Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine, and Wasatch has their first out of the game.
That's a really good pitch from Gage there. That ball was on the string. He just pulled the string back, and that thing came down hard, froze the hitter. And just perfect execution there from number 17 of Wasatch.
It's going to bring up the second baseman. Didn't have any at-bats last season. First and second. 2-1 the score, 1 out. High fastball once again, moving the count to 1-0.
I like the move, Tyler, going back a moment ago to Juan Diego, putting the runners in motion. When you've got a pitcher struggling to find the zone and he's starting to settle in, you've got a couple strikes in a row, you can sometimes get them not paying attention to the runners that are out on the field, so you can maybe get a good jump. But in addition to that, you plant it right back in that pitcher's mind of, oh, you can't forget about these. And pitchers generally hate having runners on base because it slows down your process. You want to work quickly. You want to work with good pace. And if the runners are in motion, you can't do that. You have to mix up your looks, mix up your timing. And it's a nice move to maybe stay in the pitcher's head.
2-0 runners go. Landon's going to try to backdoor the second base runner instead of going for third. Either one is not going to work, and both runners will advance. So runners on second and third with 1 out. That ball was in there for a strike, so 2-1 now the count.
Yeah, that's an interesting little twist there, Tyler. I'm curious if that was called from Wasatch defensively with their strategy. Oftentimes the trail runner, who also is a little bit of a bigger runner here for Juan Diego, can get a little bit relaxed coming up thinking, oh, the throw's not going to be after me because I'm not the lead runner. And that's not a bad defensive strategy to maybe go backdoor to try to steal an out. And if you get to 2 outs with the runner on third, then any ball in play, you can end the inning there. That's an interesting defensive thought and strategy to go to that trail runner if you can execute it.
2-2 the count. Curveball's in there for strike 2 with 1 out. Gage comes set with 2 ducks on the pond for Juan Diego. The pitch. Nice curveball, and it's strike 3 again. Back-to-back strikeouts here for Gage Sheesh, and there's now 2 outs. Very similar to that first time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Whatever Coach Watkins says out there, he's got the magic phrases, Tyler. Cole came out after he was really struggling to watch a couple guys and then struck out 3 straight guys yesterday. Gage looking the very same way here. See if he can finish off the inning, get his third out. This would be a big one, Ty. Keep it at 2-1. A knock to get a couple extra runs in here for Juan Diego, give them a little space and breathing room and really apply the pressure to Wasatch for the remainder of the game.
It's going to bring up Huggard, the third baseman. Had 5 plate appearances last year. Tried to knock in a couple of runs. Tell me infield to leave their feet, keep that ball inside to try to keep at least 1 run off the board. Gage the backwards K and then a swinging strikeout on that last one. Delivers, first pitch of the at-bat, big swing and a miss from Huggard. 1 strike, no balls for the senior on the mound.
Yeah, he was trying to help his cause there on that one. Ty had that 321 sign in his sights in left field. Took a big hack.
The 0-1 pitch. That one's got the outside corner for strike 2. Gage finding it a little bit back-to-back fastballs for strike 1 and strike 2.
All right, you need your best pitch of the game here if you're Gage. 0-2, 2 outs, runner on third base. You get out of this inning, minimize here, only giving up 2 runs. You're going to have momentum swing all the way back over on your side if you're Wasatch, because this inning could have got away.
The 0-2. Got him looking. Back-to-back strikeouts. 2 of them looking. And Wasatch gets out of the inning. 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 left on base. Wasatch trails 2-1 as we go into the top of the second.
Hi, this is Nicole with Mountain Refined Furnishings and Flooring. And if you didn't know, we've recently partnered with Mattress Warehouse of Utah to bring you the largest selection of mattresses around. The team at Mountain Refined prides themselves on making your home a place where you love to be. We offer a large selection of furnishings, flooring, window treatments, gifts, decor, and so much more. If you haven't been by lately, stop and check it out. You'll be pleasantly surprised. We're located at 480 North Main Street.
Varsity Point S is locally owned and operated by Larry Rhodes and Brad Hyatt. They offer the best brand tires at low prices with extensive knowledge and experience in repair and services with no pressure sales. Only what you need. They've been taking care of cars, trucks, and trailers for over 20 years. No appointment needed. Conveniently located. Free shuttle service and free Wi-Fi. Take $5 off your next visit when you tell them 94.5 The Peak sent you over. That's Heber City Point S. And now, back to the action. Wasatch High School Sports on 94.5 The Peak.
Top of the second brought to you by Wasatch Napa Auto Parts. Your local Napa stocks auto parts, tools, and equipment, and many other items from heavy-duty trucks, marine, and farming equipment. Stop in today. Leading off for the Wasps will be Cole Zimmerman, Carter Bucott, Ashton Gurney here in the top of the second. 2-1 on the Dairy Stanley scoreboard. Softball down here in St. George this weekend. Currently 0-3. They played against two St. George schools yesterday, falling to both of them, and then lost their first game today as well. I believe they have one more later on today.
Ty, you're going to have to help me out here. Maybe I've made a mistake on this. They haven't made a pitching change. This is the same pitcher that came out in the first inning, right?
I believe so.
All right. In the book, I had him down as number 24. So I maybe have made a little bit of a mistake here, Ty. Have to go back and amend that here.
That's probably my fault. I'm the one who gave you the lineup, but I had some issues yesterday with the lineup. Cole Zimmerman comes up to the plate, 4 for 7, 2 runs scored yesterday for the senior. Swings in the first pitch fastball, and that one's going to go into the soccer field over on the left-hand side. Interesting, Ty. They've got number 5 as Carlson and number 24 as the pitcher. But this is the same kid, right? That ball is an off-speed pitch. That's ball 1. So 1-1 the count. I did get the lineup before the rain delay, so maybe they decided to make a change later on. 1-1 the count. Carter Bucott on deck for the Wasps. The pitch. Swung on, kind of a half check swing, and doesn't come close. 1-2 the count for Cole. Infield still playing shallow for the Juan Diego Soaring Eagles. The 1-2 pitch, curveball, and this one's laced down the left field line, but foul onto the batting cages on the left-hand side. Good battle there from Cole on the 1-2 pitch. Pitcher for Juan Diego comes set. I believe the pitcher is actually Carlson. 1-2 pitch, too far low and outside. Catcher thought he had it. It's going to move the count to 2-2.
I don't know, Ty. I may have to do a little detective work here for you, because they do have big 24 over there in right field now, who's also a big lefty. And they look similar. Both have dirt all over the front of their uniforms as well. Big left-handed throwers, similar velocity.
Cole survived that one. Nice pitch low in the zone. Cole's able to get a piece of it, and we'll reset at 2-2.
Good bat here from Cole. Good quality of bat to start the top of the second inning. Seeing a lot of pitches.
Lane Community College commit. Hitting above 500 so far this year. The late kick, the 2-2. Too far outside. Fills up the count at full. 3-2. Pitcher comes set. Cole back in the box. Full count pitch. Swung on, a ground ball up the middle. Is it going to get through? Shortstop's able to get a glove on it, but he's not going to be in time. Infield single for Cole Zimmerman. First hit of the game for Wasatch, and Wasatch once again for the second straight inning has the leadoff guy on.
It's a good quality bat from Cole. 7 pitches. Fights off some good ones. Slow roll up the middle, and the left-hander out of the box gets down the line pretty quickly. Never had a chance on the diving play from the shortstop from Juan Diego.
Going to bring up Carter Bucott, 2 for 7 yesterday with a couple of RBIs and a run scored. Pitcher comes set, high leg kick. Carter's going to square too far up in the zone. Carter will pull back, and that's ball 1. Carter had a very pretty slash yesterday over the second baseman's head for one of his hits in that game 1 against Hunter. See if Coach McKay wants to go to that one again. 1-0 the count, nobody out. Carlson sets. Shrugs. There's another square. This one's too far outside. Ball 2. Story of the game so far. A little bit of control issues for both pitchers. Pitcher for Juan Diego, a couple of walks, and Gage also with a couple of walks. 2-1 the score. And it's one squares the bunt again, and it's still ball 3. That one up in the zone once again, 3-0 the count.
This guy.
3-0 count for Carter Bucard. Runner on base already on the infield single from Cole Zimmerman. Pitcher delivers and does get the outside corner, moves the count to 3-1.
I just decided to talk with the Wasatch coaches. I think this has been the start of the entire game. But Coach Watkins just informed me that they only expected him to be able to go 1 inning because he's thrown already this weekend and didn't have a lot of pitches left.
3-1, that one's up in the zone. Carter lunges at it, gets a piece of it, but that's going to go foul, so full count.
So what we might have had here is Juan Diego, when he had the rain delay, decided they were going to start this guy and try to get a few innings out of him, 1 or 2 innings. And then you're probably going to have the next lefty there in right field come in next is probably what's going on. But that's what happened to us, Ty, and we missed it in the first inning. But they had on the lineup that they were starting that pitcher. Now, Ty, you helped me out here with coaching rules. There's outs, right? In the lineup, if you have a batting order or something like that goes wrong, but if you aren't pitching the person that you say you're pitching in your lineup, what are the rules there?
I'm not sure, Ty, and usually the umpires were pretty lenient on the defensive substitution side of things. We do have a trip to the mound.
Switch made here, maybe out of pitches as we speak, Ty.
Trip to the mound back is by Mirror Lake Station.
I've got him at 40 pitches here today on the day so far with 1+ innings pitched.
So if he would have pitched yesterday, he can go up to 75 today, right? Isn't that the rule, that if he was under 35?
If he was under 35 yesterday, you take whatever it was, so let's say it was 30, then you can get to 75 between 2 days. So he would have 45 pitches today. He could throw if he threw 30 yesterday. And you can't finish the batter if you pitch 2 days in a row. You have to bring him out at that pitch number, Tyler. So they're going to leave him in. So that must have been something. We didn't get a chance to watch Juan Diego yesterday, so don't know for sure whether this pitcher is pitched or not. But the Wasatch coaching staff was under the impression that he was limited on his pitches that he had available.
Going to bring up the junior Ashton Gurney, 2 for 5 yesterday with 3 RBIs. Did a good job of putting the ball in play. First and second, nobody out. We'll see if Coach Jacobson decides to go a little bit of small ball here against Juan Diego with Tad Sulcer on deck. Ashton will square. He'll try to put it down the third base side. Can't get it down. It'll bounce off his leg foul. And we'll reset with 1 strike. Gurney wearing number 19, the great Tony Gwynn's number. We're talking yesterday on our way down to Las Vegas to watch Utah State play in the semifinals. That was a fun night. Got to see Utah State advance to the championship. And we're going through some of the all-time greats in each sport. Tony Gwynn's name that was brought up. Ashton Gurney wearing his number here. 0-1 to count. The pitch. He squares once again. He's going to try to go down the first baseline and goes foul again. Wasatch having a hard time laying bunts down today. I think that's 4 missed bunts now for the Wasps and haven't been able to get one down yet. 2 strikes now with runners on first and second, nobody out. First baseman playing up and in on the grass. Let's see if they back up with 2 strikes. Gurney way back in the box here against the lefty. Pitcher set, shortstop right behind Cole. Cole gets a good secondary. Swung on, elevated to right field. Right fielder going back, and makes the catch. Was going backwards, though, when he caught it, so the momentum was not towards the bag, and Cole Zimmerman does a good job of tagging and moves to third base. Bucard will stay at first, so runners on the corners with 1 out for the number 9 hitter, Tad Sulcer.
Good productive out there from Gurney, Tyler, and that's what you need. Is if you're going to be out, you want your outs to be productive there. Strikeouts are non-competitive outs, right? So you want the ball in play. You want to move runners over if you've got runners on base. If there's no runners on base, you want to make the defense have to work to catch it, throw it across the diamond. It's a good productive out there for Ashton to move Zinni over. Now Sulcer has an opportunity to drive in a run with a lot of space available out there. Infield looks like they're in.
Double play depth up the middle. First baseman holding Carter on. First and third situation. The pitch too far up, ball 1 to Tad Sulcer. I've been tempted here, Ty, to maybe just have Tad take until he gets a strike. pitcher's had a hard time locating a little bit.
Well, and especially if it's accurate. What the coach was saying that he threw yesterday and he's limited on his pitch count. Well, yeah, worked the count a little bit.
That one gets the outside corner. Catcher held there for a second. Umpire finally agreed. Moves the count to 1-1. Crew Erickson on deck. Crew walked and then had 3 stolen bases on his way to the lone run of the game for the Wasps. The 1-1. Too far up. Moves count to 2-1.
Wasatch trying to respond to Juan Diego, who put 2 on the board in the bottom of the first inning. If you're just joining us, Wasatch is down 2-1. Top of the second inning. Have a chance to tie it up here with runners on first and third.
2-1 count, 1 out. Pitcher comes set, takes a peek, delivers the 2-1. That one swung on, elevated to shallow left field. Not sure this one's deep enough. Left fielder's going to come up, make the catch. Cole, couple of steps, and he'll come back into the third base. And so now 2 outs with runners on the corners.
Well, it was the right idea there from Tad, trying to get the ball elevated and deep out there in the outfield to get a run in. But you're right, it was right into that wind that's blowing in from left field. And just held up there too shallow to take a chance to tag up.
It's going to bring up Crew Erickson, who walked in his first at bat. Now will be another opportunity here for Crew. Had 1 RBI yesterday.
See if Coach Jacobson looks for a spot to get Bucloud in motion here and see if he can get 2 guys in scoring position with Crew up.
Pitcher comes set, shrugs, pick-off move, not in time over for Carter. Cole bounces off at third base, now he'll scamper back to the bag.
So far, the signs with the pitcher here is his pickoff moves. He does slow down his motion, Tyler. There's a noticeable change of speed when he wants to go over to first base. Base runners can recognize that and should lead to a better jump for Wasatch if they want to take a chance.
First pitch of the at-bat is a drag attempt from Crew. Not able to get it down, but it is strike 1. Cole has to scamper back to third base. A little bit of a 2-out squeeze situation there. A bunt in the first and third situation is really tough to defend for the defense.
It looked like a safety squeeze, didn't it? Cole was coming, he kind of planted when he saw the Crew miss and went down to the dirt. Did a good job of scrambling to get back. Safety squeeze is different than, of course, a regular suicide squeeze.
0-1, this ball smoked into the 5-6 hole. Single for Crew Erickson. He's got an RBI, and Wasatch ties the game up at 2-2 on the RBI single through the 5-6 hole by Crew Erickson.
Well, no squeeze needed there, Ty. Crew's just going to take care of business and continue to hit well. He just lives on bases so far here, Tyler. Out of 3 games, he's been on base multiple times every single game.
It's going to bring up Tragun Shaw, popped up to the pitcher in his first at bat. 2 of 8 on the year now for Tragun. Does have 4 RBIs, and he's got 2 guys on right now. 1 on the pond at second base. His Carter Bucloud. Bucloud takes a step back to second, but he's got a good lead at second base. That ball's low and outside for ball 1.
Erickson's now over 600 on the season with his average. Tyler came into the day 500. He's been on base a couple more times here today. Knock there. Keeps that average really high. And you see a lot of high inflated averages early on in the season because it can sway back and forth so much with a good or a bad game. But he's been Mr. Consistent. Last year he had a double-digit hit streak as well, Tyler, on the season. He's a great leadoff hitter for Wasatch. Sees a lot of pitches, but also is aggressive and can get after a pitch when it's in his zone. And he puts a lot of pressure on the other team because he can really move it when running around the bases.
0-2 count, another ball down in the dirt for Tragun Shaw. 2 outs, runners on first and second. Carlson will deliver. This one high. Tragun loves that high pitch, Ty. He waves at it again, a little bit out of the zone. Moves count to 1-2. Alex Gutierrez on deck. Wasatch trying to push another one across here with 2 outs. Tie ball game 2-2. Top of the second. Rain delay pushed the start of this one back a half hour. Well, really pushed it back about 45 minutes. This one swung on, and it's going to get through the 3-4 hole. Carter Bucloud's going to try to score from third. Rounding third is safe at home, and Crew Erickson's going to go from first to third as well. And Wasatch pushes another one across on the RBI single from the senior, Tragun Shaw.
It was good baseball between these two teams, Tyler. I feel like Juan Diego in the bottom of the first inning had a similar bat where their lefty got up with a couple strikes and found the 3-4 hole like that. Didn't try to do too much, but it was just good disciplined hitting and got some runs across the board. Tragun there as well. He had a swing on the pitch before that you talked about, Tyler. Probably offered the one he shouldn't. Came back, got mentally set, and handled a tough pitch there with 2 strikes and just serves it out there to get a nice RBI. But then in addition to that, I love what I see from Juan Diego. They know it's a little bit of a softer ground ball coming through, and rather than getting greedy and trying to go home and giving second base to Shaw, they go to third base and see if they can get Crew Erickson, who's trying to go first to third, and that move right there is able to keep Tragun at first base. And those little parts of the game can make a big difference in the game, Tyler.
1-1 count here to Alex Gutierrez.
Assume here Alex gets another single. If he gets a single and Tragun's able to advance on that overthrow, you get 2 runs there if you're Wasatch. But just that little move from Juan Diego is keeping Tragun there at first for the time being, where now Wasatch needs 2 more hits to get 2 more runs across rather than just the 1 hit there. Little details make a big difference in the ballgame.
A little bit of confusion here from the Juan Diego defense with runners on the corners. Catcher's going to stand up and give the sign a couple of times. Tragun takes his lead off at first base. Crew Erickson at third. The 1-1. Swung on, waved out really, and that's going to be strike 2. Alex way behind that fastball on the inside part of the plate. Good spot there from the pitcher.
Yeah, you don't see that very often from Alex, Tyler. It doesn't look like he ever gets fooled like that. And that one, he just looked like he was off completely. Didn't see it, was never quite on time.
Tragun's going to go on the 1-2, but he gets the outside corner, and that'll do it for the second inning. The Wasatch scores 2 on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 runners are left on base. It's 3-2. Wasatch retakes the lead as we go into the bottom of the second.
UCCU was offering savings certificates with an incredibly high APY of up to 4% and a variety of term options to match your specific needs. This is an incredible opportunity for people who want to build their savings. With the UCCU savings certificate, you simply make 1 deposit and then let your money grow and grow and grow with a fixed rate of return that's much higher than a standard savings account. Visit uccu.com to learn more or get a savings certificate today. UCCU. Love where you bank.
Your local Napa Auto Parts, Wasatch Auto Parts at 105 North Main Street in Heber City. Stocks auto parts, tools and equipment, and many other items for heavy-duty trucks, marine, and farming equipment. Stop in today at Wasatch Auto Parts, 105 North Main Street in Heber City, a proud sponsor of Wasatch Wasps Sports.
This is live coverage of Wasatch High School sports on 94.5.
Inning here, into the bottom of the second inning here. Wasatch and Juan Diego in action. Wasatch leading 3-2 over Juan Diego. The Watts are the visitors in this one. We're at Pineview High School. Second inning action brought to you by Physical at the Fifth Stop, your locally owned and operated physical therapy clinic, serving you from head to toe, including vertigo and sports injuries. Serving in Heber Valley for over 40 years. That's Physical at the Fifth Stop. Wasatch in front, 3-2 as we start the second inning.
8-9-1 up for Juan Diego in the bottom half of the second. They were able to score 2 runs in the first, but then Gage had back-to-back-to-back Ks after struggling to find it early on. He starts with strike 1 here to Landon Carter, who's behind the dish. Hitter for Juan Diego is McKinley, the designated hitter, wearing number 10, hitting from the left-hand side. Chet playing a little bit shallow with the left-handed batter up. Swings at this one. It's going to be fouled off into the Pineview soccer field or football field. 0-2 the count.
Yeah, Gage was able to strand a couple runners on base for Juan Diego, Tyler. Feels like a big moment early on in the game where Juan Diego had a chance to blow the game open early. But Gage dug down deep, toughened up, and was able to punch out the side 3 in a row.
Make it 4 in a row as Gage pulls the string. He swung at the second pitch. You just said the second pitch was a ball. He fouled off the second pitch. Second pitch was a foul ball.
We've got it in our book that was strike 3 here, Tyler. So we'll see. The umpires are gonna talk their way through it. But yeah, so the Juan Diego player here is interesting. It's always funny to watch the players to see how they're reacting. He's smiling like, am I going to get away with this over here? He's not. The first base umpires didn't come and say, in for a moment.
The strikeout brought to you by Wasatch Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine Rehabilitation Specialist.
So I'm going to defend the umpire for a minute. Everyone's allowed to have some moments where their brains fall apart.
First pitch swinging to the right. Juan Diego swinging at the first pitch. That ball's elbowed to right center field. Tragun makes a great play.
You know, the umpire, to finish that thought, you and I have had about an inning trying to figure out what's actually going on with the pitch route here for Juan Diego with the numbers that aren't matching up to the lineup that we've had. So I'm going to cut him a break for a minute. You like seeing the teamwork, the umpires coming in and make sure they get it right. They did it quickly. They didn't take a long time to discuss it. Not a bad deal that happened. 2 quick outs from Gage, though, and he's rolling now.
It's going to bring up the leadoff hitter, Kalata. He walked in his first at bat and ended up scoring. And he's going to fall down 0-1. Nice fastball, strike one for Gage. Gage working out of the windup quickly. Goes back with the fastball. It's going to be a ground ball to Bacard. Bacard comes through it, throws across the diamond, and that's going to get away from Cole Zimmerman. Bad throw there from Bacard, and Wasatch has their first error of the inning. And with 2 outs, Juan Diego has a runner on base.
Got Cole Wisely coming off the bag there. Tyler, that ball was pulling him towards home plate down the first base line. And rather than trying to get greedy and stretch out for it into a runner that's coming in that could cause him injury, he came off and held the runner to first.
Another ground ball, and it's not going to get fielded once again. Alex Gutierrez gets stuck in between hops, and a couple of easy ground ball outs have turned into 2 base runners for Juan Diego.
Well, that's tough, Tyler, because now you're in 3, 4, 5, which is the meat of Juan Diego's lineup here.
It's going to be Carlson who will come up to the plate, the pitcher today for Juan Diego. Singled through the 3-4 hole for an RBI in his last at-bat, and again hit .341 last year with 25 RBIs. Runners on first and second, 2 outs after a couple of infield errors by the Wasatch defense. Swung on another swing on an early count pitch, and it's going to be fouled off down the first base side.
Gage sure looks good, Tyler. He's settled down nicely. First inning, he was up in the zone, having a hard time keeping his arm in the right slot. The curveball was a little inconsistent. He had some really good ones, but then had some that really got away to the backstop. But he's found something here. He looks like he's settled down, and now he's in a nice zone.
0-1 count, runner's going to go, and it's going to be a nice ground ball single up the middle for Carlson. Runner's going to round third. Tragun's going to throw it over the top. Landon Carter does a good job of smothering it at home plate. Keeps the runners at first and second, but the errors cost Wasatch as 1 run comes across and ties up the ball game.
We talked about the keys to the game being to avoid freebies, Tyler. 2 in that inning now cost him a run. You got to minimize if you're Wasatch. Had an error last night against Park City High School that ended up costing 4 runs in 1 inning. That one single error. Wasatch needs to not repeat that here.
It's going to bring up Harris, the first baseman. He walked in his first at bat, but had 6 bombs last year. Big first baseman for Juan Diego. Pitch, too far outside, ball 1. When you talk about early season, hitting's usually ahead, especially for those northern Utah schools, just because you can't get out in the gym or on turf, and seeing that a little bit in this inning. 1-0 the count, make it 2-0 as that ball's outside again.
Well, and you're even limited up there in Heber Valley on the turf that's available to you at this point with lacrosse and soccer and all the different sports. Girls golf right now is trying to utilize the turf that they have available up there. Just no one's able to go outside because of all the snow. So even your opportunity to see ground balls is pretty limited.
The 2-0 pitch. This one swung on and missed. Big swing there from Harris. He was trying to put a 3 spot on the board with that swing. Swing and a miss, moves down to 2-1 with 2 outs. Tie ball game. Wasatch scored 1 in the first, 2 in the second. Juan Diego 2 in the first, and so far 1 here in the bottom of the second. Gage comes set, 2 on the count. Takes a peek at second base, delivers the 2-1. Curveball. Landon Carter does a good job of smothering that ball in the dirt, but he gets Harris to swing at it, and that's going to tie the count up. Deuces, 2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Good pitch sequence there from the Wasps. Getting the overswing on a 2-0 fastball that was located well, then coming back with a different look for the eyes, a curveball in the outer half that breaks away from him.
2-2, the pitch, go back to the curveball. This one's elevated to right center field. It's going back. It's off the wall. Both runs are going to come in easy. Harris is going to try to leg out the triple. No, he's going to stop at second base. But 3 runs are now in here in the bottom of the second inning, making the score 5-3.
It's a good, disciplined piece of hitting there, Tyler. Got to 2-0. And then you got to 2-1, and Gage just got him. He fooled him going to the curveball that kind of got him looking in a different direction. But you look, you got to right center a long ways, about 350 to the base of the wall.
First pitch is going to be elevated to left field. Crew Erickson's going to call everybody off, and Wasatch finally gets out of the inning, but not before those 3 runs scored on just 2 hits, 2 errors, and 1 runner is left on base. It's 5-3 as we move into the top of the third.
Dan Sluga at Wasatch Bank Flooring is extending his services to include quality paint products to complete your home remodeling needs. Locally owned and operated, Dan and his team can help you find the right flooring for your home with quality products from Mohawk, Shaw, Target, Godfrey, Host, and many more. Since 2009, they've been exceeding their customers' needs by helping them select flooring that fits both their lifestyle and budget. They've got you covered at Wasatch Bank Flooring and Paints.
Hi, my name is Jeff Jones with the Wasatch County Sheriff's Office. I'm assigned to the Investigations Unit as a school resource officer and detective. Having a strong bond makes it easier to talk to your kids about the hard things like underage drinking and drug use. Here are some tips for creating strong family bonds. Having fun together, spend 15 minutes of one-on-one time each day, eat meals together 5 to 7 times a week. Brought to you by the County Community Coalition and Wasatch Behavioral Health.
Timberline Ace Hardware is your full-line Benjamin Moore paint store. Visit them for your home projects, business-to-business, and contractor needs. And remember to ask about their delivery services. And they're looking for some cashiers. Apply today and get your car hardware, your cool outdoor clothing, and Wrangler jeans. Timberline Ace Hardware, located west of the Wasatch Wasps football stadium at 737 South Main Street, serving the Heater Valley for over 50 years.
Hi, I'm Stacy McKay, branch manager at Bank of Utah, where we provide financial services to businesses and individuals in our community, and we are proud to support Wasatch High School. As one of the nation's top performing banks, we've been delivering exceptional value for over 70 years. So whether you're looking to grow a business or raise a family, we can help you every step of the way, because your Utah is our Utah. Come see me at our Heber branch and experience the hands-on customer service that only comes from a hometown bank. Bank of Utah is an equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Well, folks, spring is near, but have no fear. Country Gardens and Nursery is here for your everyday garden supplies, decor, and more. From our personal gardener to our new bulk yard, where we offer large variety of soil, mulches, and decorative rock. Come see what we have in store. Country Gardens and Nursery, 1401 South, US 189. We'll see you soon and hope to put you in bloom.
KTMD, Heber City, and live sports coverage with Ty and Doug.
Welcome back where we're at Pineview High School. Wasatch taking on Juan Diego, trailing 5-3 as we head into the top of the third inning, and the rain is starting to come down again. So it's been on and off and on and off, and now we're back on. Going to have a pitching change for Juan Diego as well. Chet Wilson, a hard ground ball, is going to go through for a single to start us off. Wasatch has the leadoff base runner on one more time. Landon Carter will step in to hit for Wasatch. 5-3 is our score. Wilson on first base, Carter stepping up. And a pitching change for Juan Diego. And Ty, you've got the lineup over there. I'm not sure. Number 6 is who stepped in on this one. He was the second baseman previous for Juan Diego.
Lavinius will be the pitcher now. Landon Carter is going to try to attempt a bunt, and the bunting woes continue for Wasatch. Another missed bunt. That's the 5th on the day. And Chet Wilson continues just to rip the cover off the ball. That's another ball that's just on the ground but just smoked through the infield. At Wasatch for the 3rd straight inning has the leadoff guy on. 5-3 to score. Wasatch giving up 3 runs on 2 outs. This ball smoked to left field on the runner that was going. Chet's going to have to scamper back to first base. Is able to get back, and that's a rob there from Landon Carter. That ball was smoked to left field, just right at the left fielder. 1 out, and still a runner on first for Wasatch. Going back to that previous inning, tied 2 outs. It was 2 easy outs for Wasatch to get things going, and then a couple of ground balls Wasatch wasn't able to convert on, and then that led to 3 runs being scored for Juan Diego. And you talk about things that the good teams do, and Juan Diego is one of the premier teams of 3A, and I really just have a good tradition of baseball at Juan Diego, and that's what teams will do. You give them a freebie or 2, and they take advantage of it, and that's what you saw in that last
You're
game.
exactly right, Tyler. Wasatch gives 2 free errors and base runners, and Juan Diego pushes them all across. Wasatch with 3 errors on the day, and Juan Diego has scored each time there's been an error.
Chet Wilson not able to advance to second base on the ball that gets by the catcher. So it's now 1-1 the count to Cole Zimmerman. Zimmerman singled in his first at bat with an infield single up the middle. Now 5 of 8 on the year for Cole, all singles. Chet, decent lead at first base. Rabinius delivers. This ball's going to be driven to center field. Center fielder comes up and makes the grab. Back-to-back line drives, and Juan Diego's outfield not playing too deep, similar from what we saw from Park City yesterday, able to come up and make the play on some good swings from the Wasatch hitters.
Yeah, they're daring them to hit it over their head, Tyler, playing the wind, which is blowing in a little bit as well. It's a good defensive strategy here. And although Wasatch is on the barrel, it's not resulting in hits here recently, as it's going right to the outfielders of Juan Diego.
Going to have Carter Bacard. He walked and scored in his first at bat. First pitch, runner's going to go. Carter waves at it. Chet's going to steal second base. Carter decided to swing at that thing when it hit the glove. A little bit late on the swing, but it does its job. Duck on the pond here for Wasatch.
Well, it's easy to see what's going through his mind, right? That's a called steal, so Carter's trying to give himself up to protect so the catcher can't get a good run out to throw down to second base, but probably an unnecessary swing on that one, as the pitch was off enough that the catcher didn't have good momentum anyway.
Weather's starting to threaten here a little bit. It's an 0-1 count with the duck on the pond. The pitch, off speed, low, and Carter does not wave at it. Moves count to 1-1. It's gotten a lot darker too, Ty, as the clouds are starting to roll in.
Yeah, it's the word I would think to describe the weather here is annoying. Just it rains for a few minutes, enough to get everything wet. Baseballs, the gear we're using, the computers, the iPad. And something that's something I don't think about often until it happens, Ty, is it's hard to touch a touchpad iPad when it's wet. The water makes that a problem over here for the game changer, so it's just annoying. You're right, the overcast as well, making it chilly all of a sudden. It's getting a little bit colder here for these players.
1-1 to count with the runner on second base. Carter caught at the plate. Pickoff move, not in time. Chet's able to get back quite easily at second base. Ashton Gurney on deck for Wasatch. Wasatch trying to answer. Juan Diego, 2 runs in the first, 3 runs in the second. Those 3 unearned in the second inning. The 1-1, too far outside for ball 2.
Definitely behind schedule today if you're just joining us because of the weather. There was lightning strikes as this game was getting ready to get started. In fact, the coaches already had their meeting at home plate, but they didn't have anyone step into the box to actually get the game underway. Then you had rain and lightning strike, and it put us off about 45 minutes. So although this game was supposed to start either at 2 o'clock and be ending right now at 4, we're only in the top of the 3rd inning right now as we're about an hour delayed getting going.
Lavinius comes set. 2-1 count here to Bucad. Lavinius delivers. Curveball. It's going to be a ground ball to the shortstop. Shortstop gabbles it up, throws it across the diamond, and it's in time. And Juan Diego gets out of the inning. No runs on 1 hit, no errors. 1 runner is left on base, and it's 5-3 as we move into the bottom of the 3rd.
Are you ready for lunch? The Dairy King, home of the train, is serving the best food with friends and family in the Valley, and they're the winner of Best of State for 18 years. They've recently been officially named Best of Utah for their milkshakes, and you've just got to try their delicious train burger with Warrior Shake. They also have those yummy salads that just hit the spot. They've been proudly serving the Heber Valley for 75 years. That's the Dairy King, home of the train, serving deliciousness daily. So stop in today.
The 50s produced some great sound, and that early rock and roll triggered so much emotion for so many. Here's another sound from that era. The Jonas Grill triggers a whole different set of emotions. The sounds, the smells, feeling out of control, whatever keeps you from the dentist, the Doris Dental, we get it. We focus on the little things. Distract yourself with your favorite episode of The Office, or crank up the 80s or 90s and let it take you back to another time. At Doris Dental, we are sensitive to your needs. We are taking care of the little things so you can move on to more enjoyable things. Located in Gateway Plaza in Heber City.
KTMP, Heber City, and live sports coverage the tie and tie.
Bottom of the third action brought to you by Mirror Lake Station, voted best donuts in Utah. Mirror Lake Station is your stop for gas, groceries, and goodies. Owners David and Kristen Wade invite you to swing by and say hello this season at Mirror Lake Station. It's 5-3 Wasatch Trails as we go into the bottom of the third inning. 1 run for Wasatch in the first, 2 in the second, none in the third. And for Juan Diego, 2 in the first and 3 in the second. Up for Juan Diego will be Lavenius. He's now in at the, for is Lambana. No, it is Labenius, right? Labenius, number 6, is up.
Yeah, now the starting pitcher, or not starting pitcher, excuse me, the current pitcher here from Juan Diego.
Struck out in his first at bat looking, and he takes a swing and a miss for strike 1 here to lead off the top of the third. Lavenius, Huggard, McKinley up for Juan Diego. Gage, who's still on the mound for Wasatch. Pitch is going to go right into the back of Lavenius, and the leadoff guy is on for Juan Diego. Going to bring up Huggard. Huggard struck out looking as well in his first at bat. Huggard playing third base for Juan Diego. Speed up runner will come in for Lavenius, who again is the pitcher now. Second pitcher of the day for Juan Diego, playing I think their last game of this weekend. Wasatch with one more. Following this one, they will take on host school Pineview High School. Huggard gets in the box on the right-hand side. Gage works out of the stretch once again in this one. Takes a peek over at the runner at first. He'll stay. Bunt's going to be laid down. It's a good one, Ty. Right down the third base side. Wasatch, all they can do is just pick it up and give up the single. Nice infield single there. 4, I have up as Huggard, but I think that's actually a new guy. That was number 4. Number 4 is Odell. So Odell lays down the nice infield single on the bunt. And that'll bring up McKinley, number 10, the designated hitter, struck out in his first at bat. Juan Diego threatening once again, already leading 5-3, going into here in the bottom of the third. Gage will set, takes a look at the runner at second base, another bunt. This time it's going to be elevated foul up and over the backstop, 1 strike.
Defense strategy from Wasatch there, crashing your corners hard. Both first and third base were coming in on that. Lucad on the wheel over to third base. Gutierrez going over to cover second base.
1 strike. Wasatch goes ahead and goes bunt coverage, even though there wasn't a bunt sign given. So 1-1 the count. On the ball. Chet Wilson barking out the bunt defenses. 1-1 to count. Gage getting the sign from Carter. Now comes set. Takes one look. Batter will square to bunt this time. The 1-1, and he does go at it. That makes it 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, but he's not able to get it down.
Yeah, scored really early, Tyler. Gage did a good job of mixing up his timing and his looks. Early enough that you wondered if it was going to turn into a slash to pull back, but he did not, and it created an uncomfortable pause there for the hitter, who just looked awkward and off balance as that ball was coming.
1-2 count. Gage delivers. Whoa, that one gets away from him again, and the runners will advance as the ball goes to the backstop, moving the runners to second and third, and the count to 2-2.
Yeah, there's another breaking pitch, Tyler, and the elbow dropped down again there on that breaking pitch. Seen it happen a couple times where that slipped out and come out really high all the way to the backstop.
Coach Jacobson calls for the infield to cut this thing off. Already trailing 2 with nobody out here in the bottom of the third. The 2-2 pitch way high again, gets away from the catcher. Carter goes all the way to the Juan Diego dugout, but the runner does not head home. So still runners on second and third, and the count is now full to McKinley. So Wilson's going to call time and come and chat to Gage real quick. Talking to him a little bit about the ball.
You mentioned we had a chance to go to the Mountain West Conference Tournament last night. Watch Utah State. They're taking on San Diego State. You give them any chance here tonight for the Aggies to get the win?
Sure. Utah State knows how to play in conference tournaments.
They were pretty good at beating the Aztecs, too. San Diego State's a tough team to beat, but Utah State's had their number a little bit over the last few years.
Payoff pitch is too high, and that'll load the bases. So a hit by pitch, an infield bunt, single, and another base on balls, and the bases are loaded for the number 7 hitter Larson. It's going to bring Coach Jacobson out to the mound, brought to you by Mirror Lake Station.
Looks like we're going to have pitching change.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take
Gurney coming in.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a break. Bottom of the third, Wasatch trails 5-3 with the bases loaded.
UGQ Barbecue in Beaver Valley is a premier barbecue restaurant. You can choose from finger licking ribs, poppin' and nudie sausage, tasty chicken, tender brisket, delicious pork, and yummy street tacos. Friday night dates make that significant other for the smoked prime rib that melts in your mouth. Family-friendly atmosphere where everyone is welcome. Quick service for dining or takeout. Great quality food and great value for your money. That's UGQ in Midway on Main Street.
You might be used to having someone answer the question, what is it that you need? I think that's limited. I'm going to take you through a 6-step process. And it's simply answering questions. And it might not just be home. It might be that you want that fancy new car. It might be that you want trips. It's your list. What is it that you really, really want? Call Tom Stone at Guild Mortgage in Heber City. Tom Stone, MLS 257849. Guild Mortgage Company is an equal housing lender. MLS 7270 for all loans or subject to Congo approval. Terms and conditions may apply. Subject to change without notice.
Hi, this is Nicole with Mountain Refined Furnishings and Flooring. And if you didn't know, we've recently partnered with Mattress Warehouse of Utah to bring you the largest selection of mattresses around. The team at Mountain Refined prides themselves on making your home a place where you love to be. We offer a large selection of furnishings, flooring, window treatments, gifts, decor, and so much more. If you haven't been by lately, stop and check it out. You'll be pleasantly surprised. We're located at 480 North Main Street.
Heber City Point Test is locally owned and operated by Larry Rhodes and Brad Hyatt. They offer the best brand tires at low prices with extensive knowledge and experience of repair and services with no pressure sales. Only what you need. They've been taking care of cars, trucks, and trailers for over 20 years. No appointment needed. Conveniently located. Free shuttle service and free Wi-Fi. Take $5 off your next visit when you tell them 94.5 The Peak sent you over. That's Heber City Point S. And now, back to the action. Wasatch High School Sports on 94.5 The Peak.
It's Tony Tacos time, Ty. New sponsor here at 94.5 The Peak. Stop on in for the best tacos in town. They don't just have tacos, burritos, tortas, chili rellenos, whatever you want over at Tony's Tacos there on Main Street.
Yeah, I could use some Tony's Tacos right now, Tyler. I made a grave mistake. We got back late last night from that Mountain West Conference Tournament. Slept in and had a late breakfast. Thought I'll skip lunch. That rain delay is going to really cause problems now. We got a game right after this. It was supposed to start at 4. We're only in the bottom of the third inning here. I might not be eating dinner until 8 or 9. Tony's Tacos might be torture as I talk about that today. I'd love to have me some Tony's Tacos.
We're flirting with... Again, Ashton Gurney on the mound now for Wasatch as he'll come in. He was DHing for Gage, so Wasatch will just kill the DH. Gurney's going to come in, delivers the first pitch, and that's a called strike one on the number 9 hitter Larson. Nobody out, bases loaded. All runners are Gage Sheeser's responsibility. See what Wasatch can do to get out of this one. Juan Diego has done great at taking advantage of their opportunities. Big swing and a miss from the lefty, and that's going to move the count to 0-2. 0-2 count. Gurney was And that's what Wasatch needed, was a strikeout there with the bases loaded. Now you got a double play to try to get a chance to get out of the inning. Rain's starting to come down here pretty good. We'll see how long the umpires let it go. We still got sunshine around. It shouldn't last too long unless we get another thunder strike. Then we'll have a mandatory delay after that if that were to happen.
Yeah, top of the order. This is somebody is messing with you over here, Tyler. They don't want you to get comfortable calling this game. Got to keep covering up this equipment.
Collada squares, and Ashton misses just barely on the inside part of the play. Moves the count to 1-0. Collada, the leadoff batter for the Wasps, walked in his first at bat and then reached on an error in his second at bat. Gurney delivers the 1-0. Gets the called strike on the fastball below the knees, moves the count to 1-1.
I'll tell you why Ashton Gurney is such a good reliever here for Wasatch, Tyler, is relievers have to have this mentality. They almost always come in tough spots, tough situations, where you've got runners on base, things are not going well for your team, you're needing to get bailed out in a situation, and so you've got to have this really deep mental toughness and almost arrogance that you can take on anyone at any given time. And Ashton, he's got that attitude where he's confident in any situation. He feels like he can handle whatever is thrown at him. And you love that out of a reliever. He's come on here with the bases loaded. It's starting to rain on you. It's not a good situation. And he just comes out and he's pumping in his own. He's getting after these guys and trying to get Wasatch out of the jam.
2-1. That one gets away from him. May have been a little bit of rain, Ty, and that's going to bring in a run. And it'll keep the bases loaded with still one out.
Well, it is, you're right, Ty. The rain, when it starts coming down and gets slippery like this, it's not just tough to grip the ball, but on the cleats. Your cleats start to get gunked up, and it's hard to plant as a pitcher when you're coming down and landing with that lead foot. And you can see Ashton stepping back right now trying to clear out the cleats. Used to love it as a coach when you were the one batting when this kind of rain would come down. It seemed like such an advantage because you would just get plenty of free passes, whether it be walks, hit by pitches, errors in the field. If you could be in play, it's just hard for the defense when it's raining like this.
It's really starting to come down. It's a new batter here, the number 2 hitter for Juan Diego. And it's going to be a miss on the inside part of the plate for ball 1. 1 out. 1 run already in, makes the score 6-3. Bases are loaded here for Juan Diego. Ashton working out of the windup with the bases loaded. Ashton getting the sign, taking his time. Making the hitter freeze here. Now goes into the windup. The 1-0 is a curveball, too far outside, moves the count to 2-0. Count, 1 out. Ashton on the mound. Trying to get out of the jam. The 2-0 pitch, and that one's going to get him as well. And so back-to-back hit by pitches. And another run will come in, and that makes the score 7-3 in favor of the Soaring Eagles.
Yeah, 3-hitter coming up now as well. Bases juiced. 3, 4, 5 coming up. And those guys have been effective in this one so far, Tyler. They haven't missed a lot of pitches.
Back-to-back singles for Carlson. He's got 2 RBIs off of those singles. 1 through the 3-4 hole and 1 up the middle.
Take us into this conversation. The Juan Diego coach is pulling his guy aside right now. The hitter coming up and the on-deck hitter. What are you saying after a couple batters are hit?
I would look for one right here.
You want him to take one?
No, I
look for one to get after.
Yeah, you bases loaded. He's just hit a couple. He's going to maybe try to take one off to try to get a strike across the plate. I would like to go after one right here if I was the hitter. 7-3 the score. 2 runs now in here in the bottom of the third. Juan Diego leading Wasatch.
You had an eye-popping stat for these first 4 hitters of Juan Diego, Tyler. 26 home runs last year between them. And this is one of those in the 4-headed monsters coming up here.
Gets the fastball called strike on the outside corner, so gets ahead here on Carlson. Carlson in from the left-hand side. Started on the mound for the Soaring Eagles. Cole Zimmerman playing in front of the runner that leads off on first base. Good leads all around as Gurney works out of the windup. The pitch, curveball, swing and a miss from Carlson. Landon Carter does a good job of smothering it behind the dish, and we've got an 0-2 count here to Carlson.
I don't know if you heard that announcement, Tyler. More lightning, and they're going to have to delay the game. So 0-2 is your count with the bases loaded. And the UHSAA rules say a lightning strike within just a few miles of an athletic event, you have to have at least a 30-minute delay to let the lightning clear out. So that's where we're going to be at, our second lightning delay of the game so far. And we're going to probably have to throw this back to some good music here on